Coach Barrick Equity Podcast, where we help people be healthy, fit, and have fun doing it. So one of our members, Jamie, came up to me and asked, um, at work, there's always snacks or, some kind of event or, treats all over the place. And she was struggling with trying to figure out how to not indulge. And a lot of people have this issue. They might not be aware of it, but they definitely have this issue. And so, how do we fight that willpower of wanting those treats when we're at work, right? We're already have this decision fatigue, all the stuff that we have to do at work. Plus, on top of that, I have to say no to whatever's going on in the workplace. And the first thing that I thought of, kind of two things popped in my head. The first one was, all right, if I have a peanut allergy, peanut butter does not tax my willpower, right? It has a potential for something very bad to happen, so I don't even consider eating it or being around it. So when we're at work, can we use something along those lines, right? Can we tell ourselves a different story when we're at work so that we don't have to tax that willpower? Right? They don't have to think about that. Hey, that's just I do not do that. And this is kind of a version of what we call a bright line. This is from a book, Bright Line. Susan Pierce, really good one. So Bright Line, it's kind of not kind of Bright Lines. It's kind of from the addiction world. That's where she kind of adapted it and brought it into nutrition. And the idea is that you need to set a bright or a hard line of something you're not going to cross. The idea being, if I have an addictive personality, if I have an addiction to something, it's like, oh, I'll just do a little bit of it. What happens is that isn't a bright line. It's gray and it's a little fuzzy. And once you get into that fuzzy area, you're more likely to go across into something, that can be destructive. So we can use this idea in the workplace. Hey, when I am at work, I only eat food that I bring. Right? That's a very hard, bright line. So now I do not have to make that decision every time I walk by it because I already made the decision. Right? This is very similar to when we're talking about dialing and snacking or having bad foods at the house, quote unquote. There is no bad food. Trying to get rid of those trigger foods for us at the house, right? We talk about make that decision once, make that hard decision once at the grocery store, and then it makes all the other decisions easier down the road, right? If tortillas is a one for me, right? If there's tortillas in the house or out in the open, if I'm constantly seeing them, I constantly have to be like, no, 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 no. Same thing at work. If there's a bunch of treats, every time I walk by it, I have to say no, I have to say no, I have to say no. However, if those tortillas aren't in the house, I don't have to do that anymore. I made that hard decision once, and I don't have to make it again. Same thing. Hey, I only eat food that I bring to work. Now you've already made that decision. You don't have to keep making it. Oh, I don't do that. Right? Same thing with the peanut butter allergy, right? Oh, there's peanut butter cookies. Well, that's not even a decision. I don't eat that. Same thing. Vegetarians, vegans, they do the same thing. They only have to make that decision once. This is how I eat. So now it's not even a decision, that they've already made it. We use the same concept when we're at parties as well. And this is planning, right? If you don't have food for lunch, you're probably more likely to go get those treats or do something, right? When you are at a party, if you don't have a plan before there, you're probably going to be grazing the entire time and eat a bunch of stuff, and you're going to see the consequences the next day and however long that lasts, right? Versus when you go to a party and you have a plan, now you can stick to that plan. You've already made the decision. You don't have to go there and every time you walk by the peanut M&Ms, you have to say no. Hey, I'm going to have one plate of food with whatever you want, and I get one dessert, and I get 3 drinks, right? And that's it. Now you've already made that decision. You don't have to keep making it. This is what I'm doing. And I want you to notice, like, as we're setting these, we're making sure to use the right words. When I say, instead of saying, I can't have treats, that's a negative. And what we're thinking about now, we're thinking about the treats, right? We're thinking, oh, I can't, right? You're limiting yourself. You're not doing something that you want to do. Versus, I eat what I bring to work. Now you're focusing on the positive. We're not focusing on something that we can't have. We're focusing on something that we're building to, right? I eat only what I bring with me because my goal is this, versus, oh, I can't have this. It's not that you can, it's that you don't want that, because it's not going to help you towards your goal. So even setting those bright lines, how we set those bright lines and how we word them matter as well. We want to think additive versus not subjective, versus taking away. There's a word for that, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. All right. So wrapping this up, when we're at work, when we're going to that party, when we're at the house, we want to make that hard decision once. Set that line. And then it's going to make all those other decisions easier. Right? Discipline, which pain would you rather have? Would you rather have the pain of discipline or the pain of regret? Make that hard decision once. And then so all those other little decisions don't have to be made. I hope this helps. If you think this might help somebody else, please share that with them, right? We want more happy, healthy people in the world. And telling those right stories, setting those lines can help us reach where we want to get and achieve our goals. Thanks for spending some time. Add another tool to your toolbox. Cheers.